Welcome to the Drill Down, In-Depth Answers to Oilfield Questions. I'm Richard Spears.
And I'm John Spears.
And we are today doing a podcast on what I like to think of as being inspired by the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. I'm taking two things that aren't the same, chocolate
Sure.
and peanut butter, and I'm combining them to make something absolutely glorious.
Well, that's true, because one of the things we're thinking about is the fact that what we just saw take place in the frac business 2 weeks ago now, which is that Schlumberger's exiting that market, combining with Liberty, who will run that frac business. And so we see a move by a big player, Schlumberger, to step away from the business here in North America. The other,
and they've already said it. I mean, they declared it on, a year ago. They said, I don't really like big assets in North America. So that's the chocolate.
That's the chocolate.
And the peanut butter.
The peanut butter part is, we know there's an election coming up.
Heard that that's coming up.
Heard that there's an election. Don't know how it's going to come about, but there's a chance that the administration might change in Washington. And the question then, one of the questions becomes, would a combination like we've seen happen on the frac side be allowed to go forward? So if we were, so the issue is, with the election in mind, is that affecting the timing of some of these actions we're seeing happen, right?
Right, because just for if you're new to the United States,
right.
If you're going to take two big companies and put them together,
yes,
generally
too big in terms of market share.
Yeah,
right,
they do the same thing. So now they're going to combine. The federal government has the opportunity to bless or not bless that combination. They can stop it.
That's right.
They can't make it happen, but they can stop it.
Yes,
and they use this fascinating mathematical formula called, you say it out loud,
the Herfindahl Index.
So kids, look it up, the Herfindahl Index. First,
starts with an H,
ends with a doll.
Yeah.
But they use this thing to figure out, does the market share of company A and the market share of company B, when we combine them, and we look at all the remaining players, does that put too much pricing concentration or ability to control the market in the hands of a single player?
It's a measure of consolidation, and above a certain index number, whatever that might be, that's usually where someone throws a red flag and says, no, we're not going to let this deal go forward. Or there will have to be certain things modified about the deal before we let it progress. So,
like sell the Gulf of Mexico.
Sell the Gulf of Mexico, or you can't, you have to do this or that, right?
Because typically when the Republicans are in office, it's kind of like, I'll let them do whatever.
Yeah, these things come and go, but certainly the last 4 years have not. I'm not aware of many objections that have been raised to similar other kinds of consolidations. But this can always change, so thinking about that, or recognizing this, we already know that operators, E&P companies, are adopting a defensive attitude about their field operations, in light of the fact that the outcome of the election is unknown at this point, right?
Because if it goes with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden has already said, I don't like frack. He's also said, there's no way I'm going to stop frack. So we're going to pick the I don't like frack approach. And he controls federal lands at that point, so he could say no more drilling on federal lands. So the oil companies right now are going, I'm going to get all my drilling permits right now for federal lands.
Prioritize the work I've got, programs I've got are going to be, I'm going to push the federal stuff to the front of the line. So that's the kind of thing we're seeing take place on the among operators. Again, given the uncertainty about where things are going to stand 6 months, 12 months from now in Washington. So
we're taking two things. We're taking Schlumberger not just telegraphing, but taking taking action to eliminate their exposure to U.S. land. And the possibility that there's this clock ticking related to a U.S. election that could discourage a merger.
That's right. Yes, right. So the first point is, how extensive might this Schlumberger exit from North America be? It took the place of, they're retaining a residual interest in the Liberty one-stem frac business. They're not going to run it.
It's a minor interest.
Right.
And so what you'll see, by the way, on their earnings is the revenues associated with that business will not appear over at Schlumberger because they have a minor interest in this company. but their share of the earnings
they'll pick
will
up the profit
appear
piece,
over on the Schlumberger earnings number.
Yeah, right. So, but beyond frac,
I think it could be anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're willing to do frac, they could do anything. So here's a couple of ideas.
Okay.
The sister to hydraulic fracturing is what?
Well, it's pressure pumping business, so you got to think cement, right?
Cementing. So I've got for those people who are looking online right now watching this, they see a beautiful black and white chart that I'm holding in my hand.
Yeah.
But according to, this would be according to us.
Yes, right.
The U.S. land market share for cementing,
Yes.
well, this year is Halliburton's number one. They're always number one.
Yeah, right.
34% of the market.
Okay, right.
But then Schlumberger is 23% of the market.
They're number two.
And guess who's number three?
BJ. Yes.
BJ Services is 7.
I mentioned BJ only because in the last week that their ownership changed, right? So
well, it is in the process of changing because it
yeah.
was announced that our neighbors down the street, Argonaut, are buying the cementing portion out of the BJ ownership group,
right,
and changing its name to, I think, American Cementing.
So they're the number 3 player in the cement business, and their ownership is in transition, right?
Yeah, so but it's wealthy. It's wealthy money
right.
who says, I want to be in the American cementing business.
I understand.
I think that there's a very real chance that you could take Schlumberger saying, I want to get out of the cementing business.
Right. Yeah. And the partner I want to marry up with can't be just John and Richard's cement company. They got to be somebody who's already...
Somebody's got some real horsepower to them. So let's combine that. So
this is a thought exercise. Okay, gotcha.
That's right. I'm not saying it's going to happen because I don't have any secret knowledge here.
Right.
But if you put those together, they have 30% of the market.
Yeah.
So you take Halliburton at 34.
And this again, the cementing business, Halliburton 34.
You combine BJ and Schlumberger U.S. Now they're at 30.
Yeah.
Between the two of them, they've got 2/3 of the market.
Yeah, right.
Under the current administration, that probably goes right through.
Maybe so.
If you wait until there might be a different administration, you could run into this.
Thing that says no, it won't happen, or you can combine the two. Everything west of the Rockies, but everything east of the Rockies got to go to a third party or something.
You got to sell the eastern part of the U.S.
So maybe it's not so much does the deal go through or not. It just maybe it's a lot simpler if you can handle it all now because maybe you can hand it off to just one entity as opposed to a couple different entities. That might be an issue. That, could happen, right?
By the way, if you back up and you look at Liberty plus Schlumberger,
2 weeks ago, right?
20% of the market.
So
you combine the two,
right.
That's about 20%. Halliburton's number one there with 30%. Now I've got number 2.
So when you do that, the top 2 players end up with half the market. So the cement business could, under the exercise we're going through, would be a little bit more consolidated. I gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Now Schlumberger's in. They do everything, but another one of the big things they do is directional drilling.
So again, they're mostly number 1 or number 2 in these markets, right?
That's their number 1 or number 2 everywhere in the world, pretty much.
So,
but in directional drilling, there's a U.S. business where it doesn't. I mean, it uses all the very same tools. Yeah. By the way, Schlumberger is staying in these businesses everywhere else in the world.
Right. This is just North America.
But so they take their directional drilling business, combine it with a strong independent.
Right.
I'm going to just say one. They're private. Scientific Drilling, for example, Pro Directional. They could combine
another large player in that business.
You take 2 fairly large players, and now all of a sudden, I have a number 1 in this business.
Right. Okay.
So I've combined them. Yeah. Maybe Schlumberger's number 1 in lots of markets.
Right. So you're just making a number 1 even bigger, right?
Yeah. And now I got a really number 1 under the current administration. Probably goes through.
Yeah.
Next one, who knows if that's
I've got
the case.
A question for you. That just came to my mind. Do you think any of their competitors would register a complaint? Sometimes that's what happens.
Oh,
right?
Like, hey,
it's not
I
so
call
much
foul.
left up to the government. The government's the umpire on this deal. But sometimes it's the competition who comes to him and says, no, wait a minute, this is wrong on so many levels. And so,
but why would a competitor complain
today?
Well, I mean, at all. They would complain because they think that the new big market leader is going to drive the price down.
Oh yeah, right. That
is not going to happen.
Yeah, so
the price is already as down as.
Now the other question is, I agree. The other question would be, what about a potential consumer, right?
That's right,
because they would come back and say the price is going to go up, right?
Yeah.
And so the issue there would be, is any U.S. operator liable to
would Chevron
dialing,
complain because they see a consolidation of the business? My answer is no, because there's still another, even in cementing, there's still another dozen companies out there that they could use.
Right.
And hold that over the combined Halliburton.
There's another issue too.
Head.
We've heard a lot of oil companies talk about worries that they have about the resiliency of their supply chain, right?
Oh, yeah.
As activity has fallen 70% here in North America.
Are you still going to be there with me?
Yeah, right. When are you going to be there when the day comes that I and everybody else start increasing activity? Who's going to be around to call? And so if it can be structured or it can be positioned in any of these kind of consolidations as a way of ensuring that competition will remain, as opposed to turn out the lights and close the doors.
I saw in a recent trip to North Louisiana and East Texas, I saw an operator in that area, drilling deep gas wells, choose to eliminate the weak financial service company that they had, fracking wells, and switch over to Liberty, who they see as a winner in the marketplace.
Is that right?
Liberty is not in East Texas, North Louisiana, but they are now because the oil company said, I would like you to be here, please.
Is that
right?
So
there's that stuff that is going on right now, where the oil companies are looking at the
triage on their
health of their supply chain. Say, I need you to not just be there. I need you to be there strong.
I'm willing to help you get through all this by whatever. So it's a triage kind of a
service companies are doing the same thing. They're looking at the balance sheet of their customers.
Yeah, right, and saying, this is what I'm chasing, this is what I'm not chasing.
Yeah, so Schlumberger's in other things where they've got big market share. The drill bits, for example, is that up for grabs?
Yeah,
hard to imagine.
Right,
but there's all sorts of things I couldn't have imagined on this. Anyway, I think that what you're seeing here is Schlumberger taking the action to exit the United States. Clearly, they're doing so, and being willing to take minor positions in it. Hey, they're hedging their bets, because if the U.S. comes back strong someday,
they'll get to
I'll just take my minor partner,
a piece of that, right? Right.
It's me.
We peace for our friends in Chicago. I got you. So I got you. Yeah.
But they're also everybody I know is who's been to a couple of rodeos. Is working their positions. To be prepared for any outcome that occurs with the next election.
I gotcha. Well, we'll keep an eye on all this to see how it progresses, and just as importantly, the rate at which it progresses, I think, will be key.
Gradually at first, and then all at once. Anyway, thanks for listening to The Drill Down. I'm Richard Spears.
And I'm John Spears.